Hi there, algebra lovelies. I hope that you're having a wonderful day. I'm recording this video inside and it's sunny out there. And when you're watching it, I hope it's sunny out there for you too. So let's get done with this quick so we can get outside. um, we are going to graph this equation. And uh, we've been kind of talking about equations for a while. The whole first semester was how to solve equations. Now we're taking a look at pictures of equations. They're called linear equations. And the reason why they're called linear equations is because they make lines. They're a particular type of function. So that's what we have been kind of talking about for a while. And now what we're doing is kind of looking at how can we take an equation and turn it into a picture or a graph of itself. Every linear equation will make a line on a graph, and that I'm going to show you, a little bit down the road why that's useful. But for now, we really only have one tool in our toolbox to turn an equation into a graph, and that's a table. And this is what we talked about last time. So this is what we're doing on this warm-up, and it just occurred to me that usually I pause and let you work on the warm-up by yourself for a second. So maybe I'll pause here and you go ahead and work on this on your own, and then I'll be right back. Okay. So, starting with a table. Now, a table is really just a matter of choosing some random x values and using your problem-solving skills to find y values. And I suggest you don't have to do a bunch of points. You just, a bunch of x's, I mean, just a few will do it. And I like to do like a couple of negatives, a 0, and a couple positives. And they don't even need to be in order. So maybe we want to try -2 to start with, just to like pop that in the equation and see what happens. So if we go ahead and decide that x is -2, which we can, we could pick literally any number we want. We could pick -2, we could pick 27, we could pick, 8,452,000. But really, if you pick numbers that are small, the calculations are easier, and that's why I suggest that. So we're going to take this x that we found, and we're going to pop it in right here. And what we're going to have is y equals 6 times -2 plus 7. I wonder if our graph is big enough for this. Might not be. Well, in this particular problem, it's just a little bit of order of operations because we don't have to do any algebra to get rid of, variables and stuff like that. This is just a straight order of operations problem. So we take care of the stuff around the parentheses first, which is also the multiplication. 6 times -2 is -12, and then plus 7. And then y is going to equal -12 plus 7. So if we're out at -12, we're going to go in the positive direction 7 places. So -12 plus 7. We get to -5. So when x is -2, y is -5. And so we could fill this in right here. And now we take another number. I don't know, how about -1? And now we're going to pop that in for x. Okay? And we have y equals 6 times -1 plus 7. And we see what happens. Well, let's see. That's going to be equal to 6 times -1, or -6 plus 7. And that's going to be equal to -6 plus 7, which is +1. And so y equals 1. When x is -1, y is +1. Now I suggest you play around with 0 a little bit, so let's do that. Pop that 0 in for x, and you have y equals 6 times 0 plus 7. Well, y equals 6 times 0, which is 0 plus 7. And so y equals 0 plus 7, or 7. And so when x is 0, y is 7. And we can keep doing this. But we have 3 points, and that's enough. We could do it with a +1, though, and I don't have a lot of room. Oh, I know what I can do. I can scroll this page. And then I can press this button. Boom, boom. Oh, come on. There we go. And it makes my page longer. Isn't that fun? All right, so what did we say x is going to be? Oh yeah, 1. And so we want to pop that x at 1 in for x, and so we have y equals 6 times 1 plus 7. Well, 6 times 1 is 6 plus 7, and that would be 13. So y equals 13. And then we can do it for 2 if we want to. We could do it for 27, 53, it doesn't matter. But really, kind of 4 points is enough. Really, all we're trying to do here is see what this line looks like. There are easier ways to graph lines, just so you know. So all we're really trying to do is generate a few points. What do I mean by points? Well, here are some x values, and here are some y values, and you can graph them as points. This means, this -2 means we're going to go 2 units to the left, and the y value means we're going to go 5 units down. So 2 units to the left and 5 units down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, puts us right here, and that's our first point on our line. Now the next one says go to the left 1 and then up 1. So left 1, up 1 is right here. And then the next one is don't go anywhere left or right for 0, but you got to go up 7. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is way up here. Okay? And then the last one, go 1 unit to the right and then up 13. So 1 unit to the right, and then up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Oh, we did have enough room on our graph paper. And that's a pretty darn good line, I would say. Now, I think I can draw this as a line. I don't know. We'll see. I think I just created that. Nope. I sure didn't. Let me try that again. All right, I'm going to do my best just to draw a quick line. Oh, it's terrible. Just terrible. You'd use a ruler, but you get the idea. So if you're being asked to graph a linear equation, what you're going to do is you're going to create a table. You're going to pick some values for x, pop it into that equation, solve a little bit to get your values for y, and then you turn those into points on your graph, and then do a much better job than I did with creating your line. That's how you do it. All right. So it's notebook update time. Time to make a new page for today's notes. Time to write a summary, some questions. Pause this video and get that business done, and we'll be right back. Okay, so your essential question, how can you graph linear equations using intercepts? And your topic is graphing linear equations using intercepts. Be sure that topic gets into the table of contents of your notebook. And let's do this. So last video, and in the warm-up, we graphed equations by using a table. But what I have said is that there are easier ways, and that is so true. Graphing by a table kind of shows you how lines get created if you only know one value, either x, and then you solve for y. And that's a lot of calculating. So there's easier ways. There's actually lots of ways to graph an equation, and it all kind of depends on the information that you have. So if you know literally nothing about the equation like we did in the warm-up, you can generate a table for points to plot for your graph. But sometimes all you know is what's called the equation's intercepts. What intercepts are the points where the line crosses the x or y axis. The points where the line crosses the x or y axis. So let's go back to our warm-up for just a second. So remember that this is the x-axis. The horizontal axis is the x-axis. It's where you go left and right. And the vertical is the y-axis. That's what those are called, axes. Now notice at this point right here, boy, it's a terribly drawn line. I really wish I'd done better. But notice that right here, that is where that line crosses the x-axis. This is an intercept. Okay? This point right here is where the line crosses the y-axis, making it also an intercept. That's what we call points that are where the line crosses the x and the y-axis. Now, sometimes all we know about a line is its intercepts. Like this. So this says the x-intercept is -1. So that's what it's telling us. The x-intercept is -1, and the y-intercept is +3. Great. Well, what do we do with that? Well, this first part, the x-intercept is -1. Let's take a look at that first. If the x-intercept is -1, then that means the line crosses the x-axis at -1, right here. See that? That is where your line is going to cross the x-axis, where x equals -1. That's what that dot is. That is the point -1, 0. Now let's tackle the y-intercept. Well, if the y-intercept is where the line crosses the y-axis, and it crosses the y-axis at 3, 1, 2, 3, then that's where that lives. And that turns out to be the point 0, 3. And then you just connect the points with a line. That's all you do. There you go. And that is done. A lot better than making a table, isn't it? So you put the point in the right spot, and you connect them with a line. Done. Let's do another one. Now we know the x-intercept is 2, and so we know it crosses the x-axis, which is this one, at 2. So here's 2 on the x-axis. That's the point 2, 0. And then we know the y-intercept is -3, so it's going to cross the y-axis, this one, at -3, which is right here. This is the point 0, -3. And then we're going to connect these points with a line. I hope I do better than I've done in the last couple. Oh, that's not bad, friends. Okay, done. There it is. If you know the intercepts, it's pretty easy. Okay, now these are the kinds of problems that you're going to see on the worksheet, and gosh, I hope it works out. Your practice after this lesson is not going to be in Big Ideas Math or quizzes or Kahoot. It's actually going to be a worksheet. So there's instructions in Google Classroom for dealing with the worksheet. I can help you if you need it, but let's practice. Let's look at the example. So this says that the x-intercept is -5 and the y-intercept is 3. And so we know that this line crosses the x-axis at -5. Well, remember the x-axis is the horizontal one, and -5 is right here, so we know that point is on the line. Our y-intercept is at +3. Our y-axis is here, so all we need to do is find +3 on that y-axis and drop down a point because that's our intercept. And now all we have to do is connect those 2 points with a line, and that is done. When you make a line, extend it out beyond each point and put an arrow on each end, because lines go on forever and ever 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 and ever. So they need arrows. Okay, let's do another one. This time the x-intercept is -4, so we know it crosses the x-axis at -4, which is right here. And then the y-intercept is also -4, so it crosses the y-axis at -4, which is down here. And then we can connect with a line. Done. Aren't intercepts great? Much better than tables. All right, where are you going to put the points? It crosses the x-axis at 2. Right here. It crosses the y-axis, the y-intercept is 3. Right here. And then connect them. You could do this all day. But we don't have to. Because I think you got it. There is a Google Slides worksheet on Google Classroom for you to practice. And these worksheet problems are going to be exactly like these. In fact, these problems right here that look like this, I pulled from the worksheet so that you could see the same exact thing. There are instructions on the Google Slide worksheet, you know, the assignment part on how to deal with that worksheet. It's basically just clicking into a text box and using the line tool up at the top of the Google Slides to create a line. The only issue is that worksheet might be kind of small. But you can adjust your zoom in order to make that bigger so that you can see it. All right, you guys, I hope it works. I hope you have a good day too. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.